County.
Welcome to Grey County Life at Home. Although we were having a chuckle, I've got to say, because of course I'm wearing a dark turtleneck this morning. You can barely see me and you can't barely see Mr. Charles, but we are here. We are here. Good morning, Mary Jane. You look lovely in blue.
Good morning, Rhonda. It's always a treat to see you, no matter what color appears. And how you and Charlie blend together, but you are quite the team.
We are quite the team. He is my handsome devil dog. He is just a good boy. And we're just chuckling because I realized that I really shouldn't wear a dark sweater. It is something, but my big news of the week, Mary Jane, is caramel corn, which is hilarious because I'm really trying to stay off of the sugar wagon and it's not going well. And of course, a rain day today. It's freezing rain out there, so buses are canceled and all that business. But I was in the process of thinking, okay, I keep wanting to declutter because I managed to collect lots of stuff. And I was looking at my really big shelf of cookbooks and thinking, okay, I need to, I could probably, weed out a few of these that I really haven't opened in a long time. So the first one was Chef Michael Smith, who, he's an East Coast guy. He used to have long, beautiful hair when he was cooking. But I got this as a gift and I thought, well, I haven't opened this thing for ages. So I threw it over onto a bed thinking, okay, that's one of the ones that'll go. And it fell by chance onto a page that showed caramel corn. And I started reading it and thinking, good Lord, I had no idea it was so easy to make caramel corn. So we're on batch number 3, Mary Jane. And yes, that would be why I'm wearing a dark turtleneck, because I'm feeling a little puffy around the middle these days. But my goodness, what a nice, easy treat and inexpensive. If you're at home and it's a rain day and you're looking to watch a movie and eat some treats, this is, I think when we go back to doing some recipes, that'll be the one that I do, because it is really easy.
It sounds like so much fun. And, popcorn and caramel corn is comfort food. And on a day like today, I think we need that. Even though the weather today, which is March 30th, the end of the month, and our program airs next week, which will be April, I'm in spring. I got my bird paintings, I got my bird houses out. Hey, I'm into spring, colors and everything. And so I'm hoping that my enthusiasm for spring is just going to melt all this white stuff away, and we can start thinking about gardens and flowers and all that comes with spring. I mean, we get rain, we get bees, we get bugs, we get flowers, new growth. So on that theme, the Georgian Bay Garden Club is having a plant sale on May 21st down at Harrison Park at 10 a.m. We're really into that. And the city of Owen Sound is having the Sound Waterfront Festival coming up. Now that's in June, and it's a 4-day multicultural event. So we've got that to look forward to. But right now they're calling for vendors. So they want all kinds of vendors to come to sign on. So if you have something to sell and you're a vendor, get in touch with the city. And of course, with the nice weather and the roads clearing up, we need to be cautious about all the bikes and motorcycles and kids that are going to be out on the road. So we just need to kind of keep road safety in mind as we open up. and enjoy this great weather.
Well, and and that being said, I just always brought my kids up saying, you're responsible. I know you're a pedestrian and that you got the right of way, but use your common sense, please. Eyes up and make contact with those drivers. And as I personally get older as a driver, I also tell my kids, if it's twilight or dark, and especially if it's raining, I can't see anything. So if I can't, there's a lot of people out there who can't see a bloody thing. So make sure you stop and look and allow the cars to go first. I mean, to me, it's just common sense.
Well, it's one of those things, the sayings that we grew up with. Always look both ways before you cross the street as a pedestrian. And I think that's the same thing for a driver. Always keep your eyes on what's in front of you in terms of traffic and pedestrians. That's so important. But on a lighter note, sort of, Ensemble Theatre has their next play coming up in April. It opens on the 21st of April. It's called Born Yesterday. And so people are wanting to get out and about and back to the theater. That's coming up too.
Yeah, I was talking to Dale at the library. Dale, I think she pronounce it Albrecht. She's been in a few productions and her husband's in that one. And she did mention though that the Roxy, the theater, is going to have some really awesome female roles coming up in the next little while. So keep your eyes on that. If you're keen on getting out there and onto the big stage, this could be the show for you. You just got to keep watch and see what's coming.
So Rhonda, is this the next big step for you?
You know what? I don't know. I think you and I should see if there's something we could do, like the female version of The Odd Couple would be hilarious.
Oh, at The Odd Couple. And which one would you be?
Oh, I think that would be a pretty easy slot for me to fill, wouldn't it? Oh my gosh.
Oh.
That would be so much fun. Well, we're going to have some great guests on the show in a moment after these messages. So make sure you stay tuned to Grey County Life at Home.
This program is brought to you by NHL Center Ice. Follow the teams and players you want to watch no matter where they play. NHL Center Ice is part of the Rogers Super Sports Pack.
As the fighting continues in Ukraine, thousands of people are fleeing for their lives, forced to leave everything behind. You can help them. Your donation to the Humanitarian Coalition will provide food, water, shelter, and medical care to the people of Ukraine who urgently need it. Call 1-855-461-2154 or donate online today at together.ca. That's together.ca. The Humanitarian Coalition. Together, saving more lives.
Every year, dozens of Canadians are killed or seriously injured because they take risks around railway tracks. Talk to your loved ones about rail safety. Visit stoptracktragedies.ca.
Welcome back to to Grey County Life at Home. I'm one of your hosts, Rhonda Brown. We have the always delightful Miss Mary Jane Murray and Charlie Brown, who we cannot see, but that we know he's here because we can hear him crunching, or at least I can. And we have Morag Budgeon here with us to talk about the Easter market. Yay!
Hello.
The weather today belies the fact that we are heading into the Easter long weekend in the next week or two, but I think that the market is going to be one hot spot.
We've been busy. It's interesting. We haven't been closed. A lot of people have thought
We are frozen.
maybe, and people are coming down, which is great. So Easter weekend is often one of our big weekends. Oh, did I lock up again?
We did a wee bit.
We have
yes,
terrible
so
internet where I am.
bit. Okay.
So I'm just going to walk as I talk, and I'm going to go close to the router. How is that?
That's
so you guys
a great
can just
idea.
follow me where I'm going. I was saying that Easter weekend is one of our busiest weekends. We Easter weekend, Thanksgiving, and the Saturday before Christmas. We can count those three as our busiest Saturdays of the year.
Wow.
Still with me?
Yep, we sure are.
Okay, good. I think that I am where you can, I'm really close to, I'm sitting cuddled up to the router right now, so we shouldn't have any more problems.
Awesome. Yeah, you wouldn't, I know that there's a very strong following for our market that go every week and get their things there every week, which is fabulous. But there would be lots of people who come on those big weekends.
Yeah, I think people are home for the weekend, and that's sort of their tradition, is to come to the market, get a breakfast sandwich from Brigitte's, and when we're at a point now where people can linger a bit longer. Unfortunately, the past probably 2 years, it's been very, okay, buy your stuff, off you go, just to avoid those crowds. And now we've really loosened up, and we'll see how that goes, how long it lasts. But right now, you can wait for your sandwich inside, which for the past year, you've had to wait outside in the cold for your sandwich. So hopefully people will come and get their Easter Saturday sandwich, buy some cauliflower or some Brussels sprouts. That's a big one on these holidays, is Brussels sprouts. And maybe get some maple syrup. And yeah, there's so much there now these days. It's a really great selection.
Yeah, absolutely. And I got to say, I have had some of those sandwiches, and wow, like if you haven't had them, you got to try it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they are good.
Well, if
And
you've
you-
ever thought about combining Brussels sprouts and maple syrup, that's the only way we eat them now, with a little bit of garlic. And it's so delicious.
And roast them, right? Do you roast them?
Parboil and then fry with, or saute with the maple syrup.
Yum, yum.
Oh,
Yum.
well, and the difference between those fresh ones from the market and what you get sometimes at our grocery stores, the difference is night and day in the taste of your veggies.
Yeah, and your meat too, I think. We have 3 people selling turkeys and chickens and ducks and rabbits, and there may be 4 this weekend or Easter weekend, but you can pre-order too. So a lot of people do pre-order their fresh turkey or their whatever meat they're having. I have to admit, I am not a meat eater, so I'm a little vague on that, but order your meat thing. I'm more with Brussels sprouts. But so we do. Yeah, people are ordering their turkeys right now from Lemons, or their rabbits from DeYoung's. They're doing that already, just to make sure that they have what they want. Because honestly, if you come to market, say at 11 o'clock on Easter weekend, you're probably not going to get Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, it would be. So what time does the market officially open each week?
So it opens at 8 a.m. So the vendors get there between 6 and 7:30 and set up, opens at 8 and goes till 12:30. We have there has been some changes in the past few weeks. It was one-way traffic. You came in at the north end canopy, down the canopy and through the building and out onto 8th Street. We have changed that. We still encourage people to come in that way because they're going to see everybody. But really, people can come in and out and any of the doors now. They're all sort of unlocked, and we'll just sort of see how that goes for a while. Summer, pretty soon, I'm not sure April 16th, we will have our outdoor set up yet, but soon we'll be moving to that as well. So, but right now we're seeing about 400 to 450 people on a Saturday,
Wow.
which is pretty good. In the summer, it'll go up to 12 to 1400. But, you know, considering it's the beginning of the year and I swear to you, I don't know what it is, but from January until probably 2 weeks ago, every Saturday was minus 18. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Every Saturday. And those vendors, we got some big, wild heater situations, but it was still cold out there. So I hope we're done with that now.
Yeah, that would be awfully nice.
Oh, I think we're really ready for it. In the market, the outdoor vendors, when you have able to use the whole space, indoors and outdoors, that's a real sign of spring.
It has, and we've been very good though. Just we had the canopy enclosed just before COVID with garage doors. So there was some renovations done, and now the garage doors can come down, but it's a concrete floor and it is cold in there. But we've had more vendors than we've ever had through the winter. With just sort of some heating systems we have. But generally in years gone by, there'd be only 2 or 3 that would make it through the winter. But because we have those garage doors, there's at least 10 to 12 in the canopy. And probably Easter weekend, that's the weekend people start coming back. So we'll see, we'll have probably a pretty full house then. We have some really great new vendors too, which have, I mean, people come and go. We've got our ones that are there and you can count on every week getting your fish or your bacon from Anita's, your fish from Howell's, your sprouts from New Life. But we have a couple of new ones which have been great. We have a baker making amazing French tarts. We have a woman selling Mexican hot chocolate. We have soups. We have a couple of soups now. We're going to be starting having somebody, and he may start this weekend, I'm not sure, fresh crepes. So you make a crepe, he'll make it for you on the spot. So
wow.
Yeah, that one's going to be good.
I was going to ask actually, like, if you will always take on more vendors. It's not something like, I know the artist co-op maybe has a set number that they can actually have, but the farmers market is more something that's always changing and evolving.
It is fluid. We only have so many spaces. Last summer, now we were down spaces because of COVID. We had to have some social distancing, but last summer we were packed. We could not take any more. And I suspect it's going to be the same this year. We've added some spots, but I get applications almost like I get applications. And one thing, we're only allowed 2 of anything so that we don't. So if you had 2 people selling honey, if you had 3 people selling honey, that would split that honey money. So we do have a thing that generally it's only 2 selling a specific item. So people apply and we have a waiting list. We keep that waiting list for a year. I have people that always just can't come a particular week. And so I have a list of people I can call and say, can you show up at the last minute? It's very fluid. It's very confusing trying to put everybody in spots, but we manage. But we're pretty full right now. It doesn't look like it, but I have to save spots almost for the seasonal vendors. So I could take somebody on, but they'd have to leave in a month because the seasonal vendors will be back. It's a very complex system. It really is. But but we are always, there's always vendors that are leaving for a season and coming back, or so it is. And we got a really nice variety right now. In fact, some ones that I'm really excited about that are starting. We have Spy Cidery from outside of Collingwood. We have them. We've had them. They come every other week. We have a Windswept Cider that comes every other week. So they switch on and off. We've got Georgian Hills Winery is coming back April, I think Easter weekend. And then we're going to have Mudtown craft beer and Tobermory craft beer. So there's going to be we might have a little liquor store, beer store section. The alcohol alley, we'll call it.
That's amazing. I didn't know that you could sell beer and wine at a farmer's market.
That's something that just happened a few years ago, the beer and wine and cider. And actually, Spy sells hard spirits as well. But it's if they're craft breweries, so there's a certain things that they have to fit into that category. But yeah, which is nice, and they can start doing samples now. And we can sample now. Most people can sample now. We haven't been for a long time. It's hard to keep up with what we can or can't do.
Isn't it?
Best.
Yeah. It seems like that's a great opportunity for somebody who's maybe getting into the crafts or sales of something that they've developed.
Yeah.
Go to the market, even if it is just before the seasonal vendors are back, to get their feet wet a little bit, get that product out there and see what kind of a response they have.
Exactly. We had a couple of young gentlemen selling popcorn last summer and into the fall, and they're doing really well. And they're actually moved on to doing more sort of wholesale, I think. But so it is we have a young guy who started cold eggs. He started there when he's 10. He's 14 now, but he still comes and sells his eggs. So it's really nice when we can see. And it is a community of vendors. Everybody really supports each other, and it is I think I would miss them if Saturday morning, if they weren't there, seeing all those people that you are guaranteed you're going to see once a week.
Most definitely.
Well, you can pretty much do most of your shopping on Saturday morning because the variety is extensive.
You can, and we try to keep that in mind when we're looking at who to bring in. So it's not necessarily a first come, first serve. When people apply, it's more about what we need to round out our stuff so that people come and they can get what they want. I mean, we make sure that we have a corn person. So we actually, last year we had 2, but you really want to make sure that you have corn. We make sure we have an apple person. So all those things that people can know that they'll come down and see. Soon there'll be people bringing their seedlings, so you can come buy your tomato plants or your pepper plants, that kind of thing. So it is always an ever changing product line, but it's always fun to come down. And so many families we're seeing more families now. It's interesting because if you look at the people that are coming now, there are more younger couples coming, and I don't know what changed that dynamic, but it is happening.
I have a suggestion. Maybe it's because we're getting older, Morag. I look around sometimes and think, gosh, when did I get to be this age? Gosh, yeah.
That's why I love Zoom calls, because I can't see myself because of my glasses. And I'm a blob, and it's like, yeah, I'm looking pretty good.
We are looking amazing, okay? Yeah.
It's good to see that so many young families now are coming to farmers market, but I think it also has to do with so much of the promotion on eat local, support your local community, support your local farmers. And I think that the younger generation are really picking up on those messages. And that's only going to support the farmers markets in all the communities.
And I agree. And I think that COVID has brought that to the forefront for a lot of people, that these small businesses really need your help, because the chickens are going to keep on laying no matter what. And, that people seem to have a greater understanding of how much our local farmers, artists, people need support, particularly after these last few years.
Oh, and going forward, I mean, these small businesses, they're still, it's amazing to me that people are still coming up with ideas and still motivated and driven and inspired to create new businesses.
Yeah, and there's just, I don't like to use the P word, pivot, but boy, there's been a lot of that going on with everybody, and everybody has a story. I think that, we can all go, boo-hoo, I've had a rough time, but we all have stories of the resilience and the ability to switch around that we've all had to do for the past couple of years. I believe that in March of 2020, when the market closed down, that's probably the first time in hundreds of years that market has closed down. We ended up doing, we quickly got online and were able to do that, but that was such a twist that nobody expected. And my husband Richard and I, who co-manage the market, were like knocked our socks off. We had just started and we were getting into this. Oh, this is really great. This is fun. I'll have Saturday mornings, and then pow, which everybody has. But it's that resilience that you have to figure it out.
I think that our market is awfully blessed and lucky that you and Richard were the ones that were at the helm when this happened, because you are very, very well respected and dynamic in our community. And I think you've proven yourself as to being able to, I know the dreaded word, pivot and adjust, and you've handled it beautifully.
Well, thank you, Rhonda. That's really kind to say. Of course, only the negative things stick in your head, but I need to hear those positive things, because we have worked hard. The vendors have worked hard, and the community is still coming out and support us. The market has been a market since 1857, and it's been in that building since the 1940s, and those tables were built in the 1940s, and so it's got such a long history. And we have vendors that have been there since the 70s. It is an important venue for them. It's an important venue for the farmers and for the craftspeople that are there. So when it shut down, it was a difficult time for everybody. So we're so happy that we have this market. We're very lucky, and it's a year-round market, which many people don't know. And I think it's one of the longest year-round markets around, certainly in Ontario. I may get into trouble for saying that, but it's been around a long time. So Stephanie and Tom before did a great job in bringing it into the 21st century. Yeah, because they were there. I always have to think about that. So we're really proud of our market, and you can see even now tourists are coming too. That's a really big part of that market.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to seeing everybody down on the Easter weekend and every other weekend for that matter. So thanks so much, Morag, for coming and talking to us about the farmers market. We'll see you down there. Bye.
Thank you. Yeah.
We'll be back after these messages with more Great County Life at Home.
Smudging is a very important part in our life as we're all learning to walk the good way. When we smudge, we use the sacred medicine, the white sage, the sweetgrass, the tobacco, and the cedar. It cleanses negative energy and replaces it by a positive energy. When I smudge, I cleanse my end and my eagle feather and start cleansing my breath to have better words. I will smudge my eyes so I could see the better things offered to me. I will smudge my ears to hear the good thing that people have to say. I will smudge my hair to have good thinking from my head. I will bring the smudge to my feet so I could walk in respect with our Mother, the Earth. Smudging is the way we give our prayers to connect our spirit to the Creator. We express gratitude for the gift of life, the learning, and growth.
What kind of show do you want to see on Rogers TV? What interests you? Log on to rogerstv.com, fill out a show proposal, and tell us about your segment idea. We want to know what you want to see. Rogers TV, only on Rogers.
Hi, I'm Thomas Shade, a right wing with the Owens Attack. Go behind the scenes with your favorite team on Attack Rap every Tuesday on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Grey County Life at Home. I'm one of your hosts, Rhonda Brown. Charlie's here having a nap, and we have Miss Mary Jane.
Oh, well, we have a special guest coming up, and it's always lovely to see Laura, and I appreciate how hard she works in our community in so many different capacities. But today we're going to be talking about electHER, electHER now. And Laura is one of the leaders and co-founders and founding members of electHER. And what is amazing to me is that this all started in early spring of 2020, just as we all went down into lockdown, and how much has been achieved in that period of time. And now we're coming up to an election in the fall. And so electHER is spot on in terms of where we are and what's coming up. So welcome, Laura, and it's just lovely to see you again.
Oh, thank you for inviting us to speak today.
So just for our audience, review the general introduction for electHER as a nonpartisan volunteer organization.
Well, there you go. electHER Now is a nonpartisan volunteer organization. We are committed to gender balance of elected and municipal officials across the 17 municipalities in Grey Bruce. So we are run by volunteers. We are nonpartisan. And as you said, we did launch officially in January of 2021, but we did start working right after the pandemic hit.
And then Zoom happened. And that's how everyone was able to connect and stay together and get the work done.
Oh, wow. You know, I know a lot of people say that they're sick and tired of Zoom, but I think Zoom actually has facilitated a lot of the connections for electHER Now. I remember participating in a very, very small way in the Run Jane Run activity that happened prior to the previous election. And there were discussions about where should we meet, because Grey Bruce is a huge landmass. And how do we get people together in a community? And of course, now we have Zoom. So, and of course, because the pandemic lingers, it made sense for us to continue our activities on Zoom, but it's really been a benefit to electHER Now.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the workshops that you started have allowed a larger audience to participate because they didn't have to leave their homes. They didn't have to drive anywhere.
Well, you know, an awful lot about having women involved in the process is flexibility, whether it's the workforce or volunteering, because of busy lives. And so learning events that can be held online where you don't have to get dressed up, get in your car, drive 40 kilometers, and then drive home, often in inclement weather, has been really helpful. And last year we held 6 learning events and over 160 different women attended. And those are women not only from within the 17 municipalities, but outside as well. And in our journey over the last year, we have discovered there are many groups across the country, but specifically Ontario, that have the same goal, and we are partnering with them.
Well, I also noticed too that on some of the workshops that I actually tuned into, there were a lot of faces that I recognized were women who were already elected officials who felt that there was a support system here for them, that they could connect with other women and share some of the journeys that they're going through.
Yes, and we haven't done a lot of official networking activities, but through our organization and how we're set up, there are opportunities for connections to be created. So for example, we are set up and we're run by a planning team, a little bit like a board of directors, and that planning team is made up of community volunteers or retired politicians. And then we have an advisory council, and that advisory council is made up of one elected official in as many of the 17 municipalities as we could have join our advisory council. So we have 11 people on that advisory council. So they've gotten to know each other. And then, as you said, in our 6 learning events, many people joined in just to hear the experiences of other elected women or community volunteers with experience in various areas.
And so you have another of planning learning workshops coming up, learning events, because now we're moving into an actual election season.
It's very exciting. We are launching our first Grey Bruce Municipal Campaign School. It will be held online in April, the 4 classes, and the 4 Tuesdays in April from 7 o'clock to 8:30 at night online. And what we are doing is we have a host that's going to introduce a video, a learning video that we have created that covers various topics. Topics like how to decide to run for council and what do you do next, how you file your nomination papers, how you build your team, your plan, what about campaign finances. We talk a little bit about marketing, some tips for social media. All of the 4 classes are talking the main points that our advisory council and other people said women need to know about this before they run for council to make the job easier, the campaigning easier for them. So we're really excited about this. We have, I haven't counted it up now. Oh, sorry, after the learning videos, we have panelists that have experience in that area. And I believe we have a dozen or so women who are going to participate in one of the 4 sessions. And our people have registered. We've gathered questions in advance, so there will be some questions that they know about. And then on the night in the chat room, people can ask questions.
So just before we went on air, Rhonda had some questions too, and she was saying, well, I think maybe, it's something I've thought about, but I'm not sure I'm ready. Here I'm parroting you, Rhonda. So these learning events or the campaign strategies would be really helpful for Rhonda to tune into.
Definitely.
To hear what people have to say, because it might sit on the back of your mind, but you don't know if you're ready to bring it forward.
And the other thing is, in your position, you talk to elected officials, so you might have more exposure and knowledge about what the job actually is. So in our first session, we talk about the various roles on council. We talk about the time commitments that people have shared with us. We talk about what it pays. These are all important answers that you need to have before you make your decision to run. But then another thing we talk about is you might decide that now is not the right time, or that never is the right time. We still believe that women should be involved in the political process. And so there's a place for everyone. It could be volunteering on a campaign team. By the way, Rhonda, that's the best way to learn about whether you'd like to do this. And volunteer on a team, get to know the candidates. Make your decision of who you'd like to support and then volunteer to support. So that's something we're talking about as well. It's not just those women who decide and put their hand up and they say, I'm going to be running. It's for all women to be engaged in the local political process so that they have a better understanding. And really, what we are trying to do at electHER now is to demystify local politics, so that people understand how it works and how they can participate. And I think often people don't participate because they don't know.
I think you're bang on that would be the number one hindrance for people, is just not knowing what the process is like and that sort of thing. And it's funny, I had a conversation with my daughter, who this year gets to vote. She's just 18, yes. And so she's quite excited about that. And that we were kind of talking about the process and the fact that we were having you on the show today. And Mike, as I was saying to Mary Jane before we came on, I think, a lot of people, I know for myself even, seeing what the political process is. Sometimes I think you get that impression that, people who have the best of intentions and they want to make great change and see these things come to fruition once they're elected, they seem to get bogged down in the wheels of bureaucracy and things don't change. And that's sort of the conversation I had with my daughter last night. Is that, as much as I think women have so much to offer in the political arena, making decisions for communities, because we are moms, because we're the ones on the ground floor that are struggling and going through these processes. I think we have so much to offer, but do we actually make a difference when we get elected? I don't know.
Well, what's interesting is if you spend time attending or watching now, thankfully, online meetings, you can see how opinions change as they listen to others. And what we see at electHER now is that women have a different perspective, as you've said, Rhonda. And if they're not at the table, the conversations around those decisions will not change. And so having women at the table, having a more diverse representation at our municipal table means that different points of view will be brought into the discussion. It isn't just about a motion comes up and you vote and you leave. There are moments of discussion where at the committee level and even at council level. Council is a collaborative process, and that means that you only have one vote. There will be 5 or 7 votes around the table, but you have a voice. And if you're not at the table, your voice will not be heard.
Mm-hmm.
I think what is important too, and that's part of the tagline for electHER now, is sustainable gender balance, so that women are not the lone voice at the table.
Yes. And we see that in many of our municipalities, 1 or 2 women out of 7 or 9. And it's a different, that doesn't represent our population. Our population, it may change in the middle of April when we get the demographic information from the 2021 census. But up until now, it's been 50.8% women. And we often joke about the fact that Constance Hamilton was the first woman elected to municipal office 101 years ago, and it's taken us that long to get halfway there. Surely to goodness, it can't take another 100 years in order for women to be well represented around the municipal table. And so that's what we are working towards. electHER's now ambitious goal is to get to 50% by 2030. And it means we've got a lot of work, and part of that work is education.
Absolutely.
Well, I think that, Rhonda, your daughter has a really big decision to make coming up in the fall. But the other thing, too, is the opportunity for her to actually learn more about municipal politics coming forward. Just because, Carolyn has the great opportunity to her co-op placement or her work placement, she'll be a little bit immersed in some of the local politics going forward. And that is a great opportunity for her. Not every young woman has that. But when you are engaging and talking about your workshops, your learning events coming up, is there an age range? Can more young women log on to some of these learning events?
There's no restriction about who signs up for these events. You just go to our website and click on learning events, and we're promoting it through social media. They're open to all, no matter age, no matter gender. We are going to be providing resources during the campaign period, learning resources and opportunities for people to make connections if they need to discuss a specific topic. We have resources that we're going to send out. So, in order to vote, of course, you need to be 18 years or older. But I would love it if people who are younger than that would look at what we are doing and what is out there and get engaged in the political process. It's easier on a municipal level because it's nonpartisan, and you can see every day the impact of municipal life. You know, when you drive on a road, when you drive across a bridge, when you see emergency services, if you walk in one of our wonderful local parks here, especially in Owen Sound, but in all of the municipalities, it touches our lives. So encouraging young people to know more about local politics is really important, especially in this election year.
And this is a great opportunity, as you mentioned, to volunteer first, because then you get an overview of how all the routines and practices about running a campaign is important, but you also get the campaign messages as well.
Yes, and you get behind the scenes. You get to really know the candidate. If you go door knocking and with a candidate, you listen to them speak, you really get to know them. And there are jobs for everyone on a campaign. Whether you like to talk with people or you're shy, it doesn't matter. Just having someone along when you are knocking on doors is a great boost to the candidate. Delivering flyers, designing flyers, helping with social media. There's lots of different things that people can do.
Well, that is amazing. And one of the things that actually surprised me the most on some of the meetings the Zoom meetings that I was involved in was the enthusiasm for the elected officials and how much these women enjoyed being on council and being connected to the community. I mean, there was so much joy in those conversations.
I would say that may not be true every single day. Like every job, there's some good days and there's some days that aren't so good. But overall, if you understand why you are in that role and you stay focused on that, I think it's an amazing opportunity for leadership in our community. And women have lots of skills that they can bring to the table, especially in the area of collaborative decision-making, learning, research. It seems like a wonderful opportunity for women to be able to demonstrate and hone their leadership abilities.
Fantastic. Well, Laura, thank you so much for coming on today. I think we need to have you on a few times between now and October, most definitely. And so if people want to get involved and go into the learning workshops and things, they need to go onto your website or onto Facebook?
The Facebook posts that we are boosting right now have a link to our website. So on our website, one of the tabs is learning events. You just click on there and you can sign up for campaign school.
Don't forget to join us next week on Grey County Life at Home.
We're going to be talking about the Jewish holiday, Passover.
Sometimes, for a wish to come true, it takes a kingdom, because together is stronger. Tied tight, united we stand, in honor of one child's wish, to fuel the fire that will grant many more. Join the kingdom.
Welcome back to Great County Life at Home. It's one of our favorite segments. It's Adorable Adoptables with Renee. And oh my God, overload on sweetness, Miss Renee. Who is this charmer?
I'm getting lots of love today. I hope she stays sitting with us throughout the show. She is a 5-month-old puppy. So as you can imagine, that's a whole lot of love. She is a Boxer Mastiff mix. So she is quite large. I'm not sure if you can see because she's sitting on my lap and I'm on a cell phone and everything else. But this little lady is about 35, 40 pounds already at 5 months of age. So she's going to be a big one. Again, 5 months of age, she's had her vaccine. She's been dewormed and defleed. Thank goodness, as she's licking my face.
Yeah.
Goodness, no bugs with this one. She has had her house training started. She has been socialized with dogs, cats, and children. She's a real lover, and she's going to fit in absolutely any home. Now, when I say that, she's not going to fit because she's giant. She is going to require a big house with a big yard. Now, the activity level of a Mastiff is not a whole lot, but those Boxers are pretty active. So it's hard to know how energetic this dog is going to be, but it's better to err on the side of busy girl just in case. I mean, big busy dog is a whole lot of work, so please be ready for that. We do not want to see Echo come back because she was a puppy. She is good in a crate, and we always recommend crate training because it sure makes life easier. It also means their home comes with them if you got to go on vacation and put them somewhere. It also is a safe place when you have people over for supper or people coming in and out of the door. Halloween night, a crate sure is your best friend because you can put your dog somewhere when all those masks are coming to your door. So we are super glad that she's been started in the crate because it sure makes things a whole lot easier. And her leash training is started, but again, she's going to be a big girl, so that's something that you're going to need to work on. We want you to make sure that it's the easiest transaction ever where she stays into her home as well. I mean, forever. The life expectancy of these big dogs can be 10 years with her being a mix. So she's got a whole lot of time left in the right home. As long as we hit her with the right place, she's going to be just fine. Again, as you can see, absolutely perfect with people. She loves to cuddle. She is a giant lap dog and is going to certainly enjoy doing that. But she does have those requirements, you know, the training that is necessary. Because, I mean, a big, busy dog is a whole lot of work. So we really want you to make sure you get it off on the right foot. Unfortunately, she's been an owner surrender. But the good news is because she's been an owner surrender, we know where she's been. We know she's been in the right place. We know her vetting's been started. So all of those things are definitely advantage. And if we would have picked her up at a stray, we would have had to hold her a little longer. So the idea is that she can come in and go out to the right place as quickly as possible because puppies don't like it here. I mean, although you seem quite happy here.
She looks rather comfortable, Renee.
Oh my goodness, she's more comfortable than I am. That is for absolutely sure.
Well, I'm wondering here when Rhonda introduced Adorable Adoptables, was Echo thinking that she was going to adopt you, Renee?
Really possible. I have a full house. I have told her this 4 times now. It's not happening. We will find her a good place, but it will not be with me. Absolutely not. Okay.
And when you say she's going to be big, are you thinking like 100 pounds? Because I know Charlie is like 55. You know, yeah. Probably 57 when he's feeling a little heavy. But, you know.
Yeah. I would say if she takes after the Mastiff, which it is sure looking like she's going to because she's already quite large, I would say she could easily do 100 pounds. Now, being a female, she'll be a little smaller than she would if she was going to be a male, or if she was a male. But in saying that, I would say at least 80 pounds. At the very least. So being kind, I would say, you know, at least 80, probably more like 100. So be prepared. Now, even those Boxers can be easily 75, 80 pounds. So she's going to be a big girl.
Wow.
I mean, she's only just 5 months now. As you can see, she is taking up a good portion of my lap here.
She's absolutely beautiful, and I love that every once in a while when she hears us talking, she's looking at the camera. She is so cute. Oh my goodness.
And her
I bet
markings.
she's been exposed to cell phones and TVs and cameras because she poses for selfies, I've noticed. I suspect there was a lot of that happening in her previous home. It's the new age dog.
It is the new age dog. That is hilarious.
Oh, go ahead, Rhonda.
Well, I was going to say, is she, and I don't know the proper term, is it neutered for males and spayed for females?
It is spayed for females, but she is not yet spayed. And that's an important thing that we need to talk about. These guys, we like to do them a little older, so she won't require her spay, maybe even till the year, maybe more like 9 months. They like those hormones to help them grow. So in saying that, that is something that a new owner will have to do. We're not going to hold her here till that time comes. We have a spay neuter deposit that you get back with the adoption to help you cover the cost of your spay. But in saying that, you got to call around because the prices vary. A low cost spay neuter clinic, you're going to get a much better deal as $100 versus maybe $4. So definitely worth calling. But in saying that, they got a wait list. So you're going to want to call them right away. And certainly we can help do that. She just got herself a little more comfy here. We can certainly refer you to those numbers so that those things get done. It is important that it gets done behaviorally, medically. I mean, and it's the right thing to do. So we certainly want to help you do that. Oh my goodness, girl.
Well, we know that you have a fundraiser coming up in April.
We do, and I'm so excited to talk about that because it's an in-person fundraiser, and we don't get to have too many of those these days, so we're super thrilled. It's going to be at the Heritage Place Mall. There is an egg hunt. The Easter Bunny is going to be there live for photos. And when I say Easter Bunny, we're going to say Santa style, not a bunny. However, there will be bunnies there for viewing thanks to the Owen Sound Animal Shelter. And additionally, photos with the Easter Bunny Santa style. Will be a fundraiser to our spay, neuter, and medical fund. I'm getting it from all angles here. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, she is beautiful.
Oh my gosh,
what a sweetheart.
Okay, you're lovely. Look at the camera. There you go. That'll keep you busy. So definitely come out. That is April 16th. The details are on our Facebook page. Additionally, they will be posted on the Heritage Place Mall site because it is held at the mall. The eggs will be all over the mall for your kids to go hunting. It's going to be great fun. We absolutely love it. And I believe the time is 10 until 2. I'm going to be there obviously earlier than that, but that's all good.
Okay, awesome, Renee. Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy your snuggles on this rainy day, last Wednesday of March. Oh my goodness. And we will be back next week with more Grey County life at home. And of course, adorable adoptables with Renee. Thanks, everybody.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
I did it.
I need it.
The hero gave it.
And I am alive.
As an organ donor, you can save up to 8 lives and enhance the lives of 75 others. Please go to our website. Pledge a gift of life. You'll be glad you did.
As the fighting continues in Ukraine, thousands of people are fleeing for their lives, forced to leave everything behind. You can help them. Your